The Comedy Caravan with Jimmy Durante and Garry Moore. Here's the Comedy Caravan, rebroadcast especially for the American Armed Forces and their allies. Listen to Jimmy Durante, Georgia Gibbs, Roy Bargy and his orchestra, and your master of ceremonies, Garry Moore.
We bring you a young man whom no self-respecting eight-ball would be found in front of. The co-star of our show, Garry Moore.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, my friends, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm awfully sorry, Howard, that you chose this evening to pick on me, just when I'm so worried and everything.
Worried about what?
Well, I'm worried about the movies, Howard. Alice Faye is retiring to become a mother. Betty Grable is retiring to become a mother. And today I heard Mickey Rooney is retiring. You don't suppose that he's going to be... Oh, but he isn't even married.
Well, Garry, I don't see why you worry about the movies. They don't seem to worry about you.
Oh, but they will, my friend. I have just started taking a course in motion picture acting.
How's that again?
A course.
Yes.
I have started taking a course in motion picture. Get a load of this if you don't believe me.
Right.
To be or not to be. Light green. Tomato and tomato and tomato. Dark purple. Friends, Romans, and countrymen, lend me your ears. Yellow.
What was that?
Shakespeare in Technicolor. I got it from a million of them. Shakespeare. You know, you take that line from The Merchant of Venice about the pound of flesh. 300 times this week I've said that line. So that makes 300 pounds of flesh.
Did someone call me?
But isn't my dainty little secretary Toodles Bongschnook? What's new around the block, Buster?
Oh, I'm so excited, Mr. Moore. On the way over here, 6 sailors tried to pick me up.
Yeah, don't say.
Uh-huh.
Well, I thought it would take at least 10 sailors to pick you up. But I will say, ladies of the listening audience, that Miss Bongschnook looks simply ravishing tonight as she stands here in a lovely gown of unfinished burlap. It's really charming.
Mr. Moore, this gown was designed especially for me by that great designer, Slopperelli Fink.
Slopperelli Fink. What does he call that creation?
He calls it a backyard in Brooklyn.
Backyard. And where did he find the material?
In a backyard in Brooklyn.
You might have known. But let's get down to the letters of the week. What came in the mail truck? What came in the mail truck? Huh?
Well, here's a letter from Mr. Otis Tinklefuss of Backtooth, Wyoming.
Oh, yes?
Yeah, he wants to know what is the secret of your success with women?
My success with women?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Tinklefuss. The first thing I do is send all my girls a stick of garlic-flavored lipstick.
Garlic-flavored? What for?
Well, when we're alone in the dark and I can't find their lips, I just inhale and come in on the beam. But it's great. But the quickest way to a woman's heart is to ply her with gifts. Why, on my girl's last birthday, I sent her a quart bottle of perfume.
A quart bottle? Mm-hmm. But that's so extravagant. I'm sure a dram would have been plenty.
Well, maybe so, but I'm the sort of fellow who just doesn't give a dram.
We don't know what Confucius say, but for our philosophy, we turn to Roy Bargy and his orchestra, whose conviction is that love isn't born, it's made.
was Roy Boggy and his orchestra playing Love Isn't Born. But at this moment, that is of the utmost inconsequentialness.
Not even close.
But right now, we are concerned with Garry Moore and his culture corner.
Thank you, James. You know, I just got a phone call from a lady in Larchmont who can't pay her electric bill. And they're cutting her current off any minute, so she's asked us to do as much of our program as possible before her radio goes dead.
Well, don't just stand there, Junior. Start talking.
I will, James, just as fast as I can. The story of Little Red Riding Hood. Well, once upon a time, this little girl lived with a mother, little teeny house in the edge of the woods. Her name is Girl, so Little Riding Hood. Now, I don't know why people used to call that, because that's what you wore, and that's what you go around wearing. And people in the band call you Little Riding Hood. One day, her mother said to her, Red, she said, Red, your grandma's lying in her bed in a little house on the other side of the woods with a broken arm. Last night, she was celebrating her 93rd birthday, and she slipped on a beer bottle and broke her arm. Now, I fixed up a very nice basket of goodies for you to take to your grandma. Little Riding Hood said, What's in the basket, Ma? What's in the basket, And the mother said, Oh, not much in the basket. Just an apple, an orange, a lemon, a lime, a pickle, a pie, a pound of steak, a bagel, a bun, and a box of beans, a carrot, a cake, and a can of corn, a herring, a hog, a handful of hash, and 14 doses of bicarbonate of soda. Now, Red, she said, Red, you take this basket to your grandma's house on the other side of the woods, but don't go through the woods. Take the bus. Well, you know how a kid is about a thing like that. They don't pay attention to what their mother says. Bush, mush, who takes the bus? So off she goes, walking through the woods. What's a very pretty day? The sun is shining. All of a sudden, she hears a terrible cry. Oh! What do you think hops out of the bush? What do you think hops out? A wolf, a great big nasty wolf. Well, and the wolf says, What do you got in the basket? What do you got in the basket? She says, What do you care what I got in the basket? Got an apple, an orange, a lemon, a lime, a pickle, a pie, a pound of steak, a bagel, a bun, and a box of beans, a carrot, a cake, and a can of corn, a herring, a hog, a handful of hash, and none of your big fat business. Well, so what does the wolf do? Take a shortcut through the woods and he beats Red Riding Hood to her grandma's house. Before you can get say boo, he breaks into the house and he eats grandma all up. Excuse me. Well, what does he do? What does he do? This big old puts all of grandma's clothes on. He puts all of grandma's clothes. Believe it or not, he looks just like grandma. Looks exactly like grandma. They both needed a shave. And he no sooner gets into bed, and who's here coming but Red Riding Hood? She walks up to grandma's door. She knocks on the door. Knock. The wolf says, Come in. She goes in. She says, Hiya, grandma. How's the kid? The wolf says, Just fine. What you got in the basket? Egad, says Red, I got an apple, an orange, a lemon, a lime, a pickle, a pie, a pound of steak, a bagel, a bun, and a box of beans, a carrot, a cake, and a can of corn, a herring, a hog, a handful of hash, and I hope you choke on the stuff. Well, just then she begins to notice something funny. She says to the wolf, Jeepers, creepers, what big creepers, Grandma. And the wolf says, better to see you with, my dear. And Red says, Get a load of those ears. You've been frightened by a helicopter. And the wolf says, better to see you with, my dear. Yeah, but get a load of those teeth, says Red. And when that wolf hops out of bed and he yells, Better to eat you with, my dear. Then the action really starts. Round. The wolf is chasing Red. Help! Out in the woods. Out in the woods is a great big woodsman who was sawing down trees. When he hears yelling, when he so young, picks up his axe, runs in the house, and cronk, he leaves the wolf have one right in the kisser. My hero, screams Red. My hero, will you marry me? And the woodsman says, I'd love to marry you, Red, my dear. But before I do, you must ask me one question. Anything, says Red. Ask me anything. And the woodsman says, Okay, sister, what do you got in the basket? She says, I got an apple, an orange, a lemon, a lime, a pickle, a pie, a pound of steak, a bagel, a bun, and a box of beans, a carrot, a cake, and a can of corn. Nuts, let it go. So she goes back home, settles down, becomes an old maid, lives happily after, and that is the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Thank you very much.
Junior, put that down on paper for me, will you? I'm positively agog with stupefaction.
Did you like it, James?
Why, if I tried that, my tonsils wouldn't be speaking to my adenoids.
Well, there's nothing to it, chum. Here, now, look, you introduced Georgia Gibbs the same way I told the story.
All right. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Georgia Gibbs, the versus me. Excuse me. The little girl who's the idol of the woods. And now I'll sing a song. It's no use, Junior. I can't understand a word I'm saying.
Well, that's too bad.
It certainly is, gentlemen, because I could use a good introduction for a fine new arrangement. Duke Ellington's beautiful melody, Do Nothing Till You Hear From Me.
And Georgia Gibbs sings...
Do nothing till you hear from me. Pay no attention to upset. Why people tear the seam of anyone's dream is over my head. Do nothing till you hear from me. At least consider our romance. If you should take the word of others you've heard, I haven't a chance. True, I've been seen with someone new, but does that mean that I'm untrue when we're apart? For words in my I feel about you. Some kiss may cloud my memory, and other arms may hold a thrill. But please do nothing till you hear it from me, and you never will. True, I've been seen with someone new. What does that mean? That I'm untrue when we're apart. The words in my heart reveal how I feel about you. Some kiss may cloud my memory, and other arms may hold a thrill. But please do nothing till you hear it from me, and you never will. Oh, do nothing till you hear it from me.
Play about nightclubs, entitled The Striptease Dancer Backed into a Hot Radiator, or My How They Hissed Her When They Saw Her Blister. Jimmy, in this play, you and I operate a nightclub. You ever go to nightclubs?
Semi-annual, twice a week.
I see.
Last week, I dropped into a fancy joint uptown, and boy, did I get a kick out of hearing Spike Jones and his all-girl orchestra.
Jimmy, Spike Jones has no girls in his orchestra.
He hasn't? No wonder they laughed when I proposed to the trombone player.
A fanciful story and delightfully droll, but come, we must see how things are going at our nightclub. Hello, Durante and Moore's nightclub. No cover, no minimum, no ventilation.
Mr. Moore, I want to make a reservation at your nightclub for 23 people, but I want to make sure your place is clean.
Clean? Why, our nightclub is so clean you can eat off the floor.
Really?
Yeah, but stay away from the tables. They're a mess. Now, let me see. I got to get down here to business and find...
Get me a chair. Get me a chase lounge. I'm a vertical wreck. This nightclub is sapping my stamina.
My palpitating partner is pooped. Jimmy, a big party's coming down here tonight. I want the place to look spick and span.
Don't worry, Junior. I got the place spick and span, and grimy, too. I put everybody to work with soap and a scrubbing brush. They're scrubbing the dishes. They're scrubbing the silver. They're scrubbing the tables. Everything is being scrubbed.
What was that?
They're scrubbing the cashier.
Well, I had a busy day, too, Jimmy. The trained seal in the floor show broke into my office and swallowed my ration book. I had a tough time getting it back.
I hope you didn't hurt him.
No, only where he used to have a flipper, now he's got a zipper. It's quite a job running a nightclub. Come in.
Gentlemen, I've got a sensational feature for your floor show.
You have?
Yes. My wife and I do an adagio dance. I throw my wife 30 feet up in the air, and I catch her blindfolded.
Why blindfolded?
I can't stand the sight of her in pink tights.
Everybody wants to get into the act. Why, I got a good mind to give up this joint and go back to Harvard Medical School as Exhibit A.
You really should.
Well, snap my picture and call me negative. Hurry up, boys.
All hands on deck, man. A submarine just broke surface.
I'll pipe down, salami snoot.
Me?
I am Mrs. Chilton B. Tilton, and you must give me the best table in the club. I am one of the carriage trade.
Carriage trade? Well, sit down. You look like you've been pulling a heavy one.
That's enough out of you, bubble brain.
Me?
Now, I'm warning you. My friends and I will walk out of here if your floor show isn't absolutely wonderful.
Wonderful? Why, it's colossal. Wait till you see Umbriago do his act. He lays down on the floor and 25 men stand on his chest. On each of his feet, an assistant gives him a hot foot with a blowtorch. Another assistant hits him on the head with a big sledgehammer. And all through the act, Umbriago keeps talking.
What does Umbriago say?
There must be an easier way to make a living.
Don't you worry, Mrs. T. We'll give you plenty of entertainment. And after the show is over, I'm going to ask you to dance with me.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yes, you and I shall trip the light fantastic. That is to say, I'm light and you're fat. Well, let's get
Junior, are we in a jam?
What?
We got no floor show. Umbriago didn't show up.
Yeah, and the fan dancer quit. She said her dressing room was like an icebox.
Which dressing room did you give her?
The one down at the end of the hall.
Junior, that is the icebox.
So that's why the light went out every time we closed the door. I was wondering what was...
All right. How about the floor show?
Junior, we're in trouble. You got to get out there and do something to entertain the customers.
Well, all right, Jimmy. Here I go. Well, good evening, folks. It's nice to see you all here. I was just fixing a leaky faucet. That's why I look like a drip. Would you like to hear some funny stories? Well, stop me if you've heard this one. Once there were two men named Pat and Mike.
Stop!
You've heard that one, huh? Well, I just had a visit from my mother-in-law.
Stop!
Heard that one, too, huh? It seems that a traveling salesman took a farmer's daughter out for a ride in his car. No stop? Good. And as they parked on a lonely road, the farmer's daughter said... Pardon me, Lucy. Didn't see you sitting there. Well, I could keep you laughing like this for hours, friends, but now I give you the king of crooners, accompanying himself at the piano, Bing Durante.
The bench is out of tune. But here I go, in regardless. Won't you tell me when we will meet again? Sunday, Monday, or always?
Please, Mrs. Tilton, don't leave.
Walking out on Durante, huh? I never forget a back. I'll sing something else. When the blue of the night meets the gold of the day. Ba-ba-ba-boo, ba-ba-ba-boo, ba-ba-ba-boo. That ba-ba-ba-boo was an original touch I added.
Well, now that we're alone, you can get away from the piano, Jimmy. The guests left, the waiters left, even the chef walked out.
I can't understand it. Was my tremolo off beat?
No.
Was my obligato too pianissimo?
No.
Then why did everybody walk out?
Look behind you. The joint is on fire!
Now who will be with you when we're far away?
Yeah.
Let me hear that high note, maestro. What a note.
A magnificent note, Mr. Durante.
An adorable note, Mr. Moore. And I sure would like to do the town tonight. Do you know any girls?
Do I know any girls? Well, I got a list of girls as long as my arm.
Sorry, I like mine taller than that.
Oh, boy, but there's one girl I know who looks like Lana Turner, Ann Sheridan, and Ingrid Bergman, all rolled into one. There's just one trouble.
What's that?
Every time I unroll her, she looks like Wallace Beery.
That's my boy who said that. Now who will be with you when we're far?
Good night, Mr. Durante.
Good night, Mr. Moore.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.
The Comedy Caravan is a rebroadcast presentation for you soldiers, sailors, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen of the United Nations. For the remainder of this broadcast period, Armed Forces Radio Service invites you to listen to the music of Russ Morgan.
For there is no secret love that the draft board didn't discover. They're either too young or too old. They're either too gray or too grassy green. The pickin's are poor and the crop is green. What's left will never harm me. What's good is in the army. They're either too old or too young. So, darling, you'll never get stung. Tomorrow I'll go hiking with that Eagle Scout unless I get a call from Grandpa for a snappy game of chess. I'm finding it easy to stay good as gold. They're either too young or too old. They're either too bald or too bold. They're either too fast or too fast asleep. So, darling, believe me, I'm yours to keep. There isn't any gravy, the gravy's in the Navy. They're either too fast or too stale. There is no available male. I will confess to one romance I'm sure you will allow. He tries to serenade me, but his voice is changing now. I'm finding it easy to keep in control. They're either too young or too old. I'll never fail you while you are in Australia or out in the Aleutians or up among the Russians and flying over Egypt. Your heart will never be gypped. And when you get to India, I'll show you what I've been here. I've looked the field over, and lo and behold, they're either too young or too old.
This rebroadcast is a presentation of the Armed Forces Radio Service.